Man, I really gotta get me some food after. Oh, hey, we're recording. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, extraterrestrials, and other individuals who may have been tuning in to today's session. My name is Connor, and you are listening to Connor Talks Games. Now, I think now that the fangirling process is all out of the way, I'd like to dedicate this half-hour session to talking a little bit about I believe it was about 11 or 12 nominations that Claire Obscure was nominated for, and then it proceeding to take home, like, about 9 of them. So I thought it'd be fun to have the Game Awards up and just kind of do a recap, look at the different sections, and kind of just talk about my feedback on that, through a more unbiased lens, I say. But before we do that, I gotta tell you what's going on with me. So I actually got back into Baldur's Gate 3 recently. I have about 6.5 playthroughs under my belt with that game. We're nearing 500 hours. And I decided to finally bite the bullet and do an honor mode run with a couple of friends. And it turns out that the save file is corrupted. Which means, unfortunately, I'm going to have to restart, or at the very minimum, we're going to need to do some voodoo dark magic to actually get it to work properly. But, might work, might not work. We have a secondary playthrough I was doing with somebody else. We might scapegoat them in and take that save file and see what I can do with it. But, it's not easy, but, I like to think that I have enough time on that game and experience doing an old one warlock. Yeah, baby, Cthulhu's my sugar daddy. That sounds so wrong. All right. Enough about that. Let's see what else we're playing. Got back into Star Rail. I saw Sparkle, her Elation variant, is coming out, but I am excited to see this new path and kind of how it goes, because I heard a lot about it. It's supposedly a combination of a class, but then they could swap to something else, so it's like, oh, I'm going to heal you 1 second, but I'm swapping now to being a menace to society and how much I'm going to beat you. Not to be confused with Menace Below from Vermintide, but I digress. I've been playing Darktide. I got my signature character, Bessie Stabbins, the Hive Scum, who does in fact go around stabbing people, if required. She can also maybe look at you funny and shoot you, but mostly stabbing. Lots of stabbing, I'd say. Now, I am also finally done with the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, and we're on the Dark Brotherhood questline right now in Oblivion. That's pretty fun. I'm just doing, like, the various different side quests right now. There was one where I was on a ship and I had to stab them. There's another one where the Blade of Woe got upgraded. It is funny to me how I have 6 sneak, and I picked a preset class, and my friend was giving me crap for it, because, like, oh, you picked a warrior. I'm like, yeah, I did, because I never played this game before. I played a lot of Skyrim, but I never touched Oblivion, but I'm actually enjoying it. The gameplay, though, is downgrade, but what are you gonna do? It's an Elder Scrolls game. We're not here to toss and turn. We're here to look at somebody funny and attack them. Oh yeah, and the final thing I've been up to is I've actually been doing some more Necromunda on the tabletop. It's a Warhammer thing where you got the models and you kind of like roll them, and you have them go at each other. I'm playing my Pelennite Enforcers, although I've been looking to getting to recasting, so I don't gotta worry about paying the exuberant GW prices. Okay, we're nearing the 5-minute mark, and I think we should dedicate the rest of the time now to actually discussing a little bit about the funny Claire and how it did in comparison to pretty much everything else. So let's just start right out of the gate. Game of the year. We had some contenders. We had Death Stranding. We had Hollow Knight Silksong, Hades 2, KCD 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Don't know why it was there. Didn't care about it. But we had Claire Obscure, and I was okay with that winning Game of the Year again. I think that's a very valid award for it to take home. Because again, most nominated and freaking most voted upon by players. I know you could say the Game Awards were rigged, but I think that was a very justified and unique when Sandful interacted with Kepler and Arc definitely knocked it out of the park. Now, I would have also been fine with Hollow Knight Silksong taking it, although at the time of recording this, they did take the Steam Awards Game of the Year. So I think that's perfectly valid, as all things should be. Man, I gotta beat that one, actually. I'm on the judge right now, but the run back is such a pain in the ass. I'm okay at the game, but we need to kick it up a notch. A friend did gift me Hades too, but we'll get to the award that Claire Obscure took from it that I think it should have won instead. KCD, Henry was apparently not hungry enough to take home Game of the Year, so it's unfortunate. Death Stranding, Hideo Kojima's latest acid trip. I don't really think there's much else to say about it other than that they deserve that one. So, best game direction. Split Fiction, I think, was probably going to be coming out last either way in that respect, but again, Claire Obscure took that, so that's 2 for 2 right now. I think, again, a very justified take-home. It was fun, and I think the direction they took it with not only like the gameplay, the environment, and the story, but just like the vibes were very on point. But again, I could see it going to Hades too, or Death Stranding. Death Stranding, I hear so much about it, but it's just I don't know. I don't know what the hoomfla is. There's a baby, and it's like there's an invisible monster. It's weird. It's weird. Best narrative. Now, this is kind of where I think you could make the argument case. I think that Death Stranding could have taken this one, or Ghosts of Yotei. I hear very positive things about Ghosts of Yotei, the story definitely being one of them. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it was comedic, but I don't think it had the same level of writing as the other options on the list. You know, Henry's kind of just doing his thing again. He's vibing. But you could see Claire also taking it, but that's 3 for 3 right now on them. Silent Hill F. It seemed very confused to me, which I think kind of costed it a little bit, but that was the previous episode where I kind of went into a little bit into detail on that, if you're interested. Okay, best art direction. This is actually one where I think it didn't deserve the win. So, Claire Obscure once again won the art direction, but I think personally it should have gone to Hades too. Now, out of all of the games that were at the awards, Silksong and Hades 2, in my opinion, had the most unique art sets. And while I do like Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding and Claire, those games do kind of look similar-ish. I mean, Claire, it's an Unreal game, and there are a lot of games that kind of look similar to it. I'm not saying that it's a one-to-one, because, all the games had something going for them, but in regards to, like, unique art set, definitely goes to Hades 2. Very colorful and creative technical achievement in artistic design and animation, coming from the official website description on that. But that's my 2 cents on that. Now, what do we got next here? Best score and music. Now, this one, you could also make an argument, but I believe I might be butchering his name here. Lorene Testard. That was a fine win. I'm a big fan of electronics, actually. While we're on this topic of conversation, I just want to confirm something, because I know that if I recall correctly, so one of the big things about Claire being such a blow-up success, I guess, and also just like a big inspiration, is that they had no idea what they were doing. They were randomly figuring it out as they go. YouTube, the speech that they gave at the end was a good example of that. And then, of course, the whole entire thing with, just the finished product being as good as it was, but Mr. Lauren Testard, like his entire shtick was that they were a SoundCloud artist before being picked up. And when they were picked up, they were working on this game, but it was really just like they found this one person and we really like this individual. Let's bring him in. And that's what they did. And here we are. An absolute banger. Here's the quote. Game director at Sandful Interactive discovered my work. He reached out and asked if I would compose the soundtrack for a game. This moment marked the beginning of a beautiful collaboration, one that changed my life. Yep, from a very young age, determined to breathe life in a virtual world. So I think they really hit the nail on the head. Apparently he had about 50 published tracks on various indie game posts before they got noticed. But I think that's a very fine enough win, in my opinion. But what else do we get here? Best audio design. Now this one went to Battlefield 6, and I'm inclined to agree. Mostly because Battlefield 6, if you've never played it, I would recommend getting, you gotta listen to it with a pair of headphones, but just having a building collapsing on you, hearing the shells hit the ground from a tank, or just the overall chaoticness. Like, I remember seeing a jet go over my head when I was capturing a flag, and the audio design was crisp to the moment the jet flew overhead to the drowning out of the engine of the gunfire. It was really something. And I think that it was a great return to form to classic Battlefield. So that's, in my opinion, that's perfectly justified. Again, competing with Claire, Death Stranding, Ghost, and then Silent Hill F. For poor Silent Hill F, it's going to be a recurring gag as we continue on here. Okay, best performance. Oh my god. Charlie Cox, Ben Starr, Jennifer English. It's... You're competing with 3 VAs from Claire right out of the gate, and I could see it going to either one of them. I'm not familiar with the 2 other options, Erika Ishii and Konatsu Kato. I think I said those right. Don't sue me otherwise or stab me, please and thank you. I need my jaw to be relatively intact. Troy Baker, though, I think does a very solid job in the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and I would have been fine with him also getting the award. But it's good to see Jennifer English getting it, so that's our Claire Expedition 33-1 right out of the gate there. Innovation in accessibility. Okay, this one I had to actually look up. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows, we had Atomfall, Doom the Dark Ages, EA Sports, FC16, and South of Midnight. I was very surprised when Doom the Dark Ages took it, because I don't usually recall Doom being nominated in that category. And the main reason why is because it offered a great option range for the visuals, the gameplay, the accessibility, which included weapon bob, scream, shake difficulties, and modifiers. If I remember, you can change the colors on prompts, which, obviously it helps out for colorblind people, and I know that one of the biggest things, especially in the industry, is color coding things can be a little difficult when individuals can't see certain colors. So that being able to be represented is very neat. But I'm happy, all things considered. I still have to play it, but other than that, that was a very justified one. So games for impact, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I don't know anything about these games. Again, I typically, when I look at Game Awards, I don't check these specific ones. But we had Lost, Records, Bloom and Rage, Despelite, Consume Me, Wanderstop, and then South of Midnight, as we've established. South of Midnight, I'm glad I got it. I don't know what it is. It looks neat. Next category. Best ongoing. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Right. So the main one that comes to mind was Helldivers 2, but what ended up taking it was No Man's Sky. And No Man's Sky from Hello Games is the perfect example of a game that went completely in a 180 from how it originally was. I remember when No Man's Sky launched, it was the farthest thing from being a published product. In fact, it was pretty dog shit. All the promised features weren't there. There was no multiplayer. It was... people were bricking with the pre-order bonus, with the whole drive engine. But when the game finally got patched and everything worked out, you know, it was really something to behold. I mean, hell, I stopped playing when living ships was a thing, and at the time, the game had crazy levels of interactivity with the multiplayer and whatnot. Excuse me. Take a look at my beholder dice here I have real quick. Actually, while I'm on this topic of conversation, let me get my die here. Where's the D20? So it's the D20 that's hiding. Ah, here we go. Yeah, that is a nat 1. Okay, so God does not like me today because I am talking about... I skipped over accessibility, that's why. Ah, fair enough. I guess I'm going to hell for that one. But No Man's Sky winning, I think that's a very justified response. Best community support. Is this even really a competition? I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 took the thing. We have Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, No Man's Sky, and BG3. Baldur's Gate 3 still coming in strong after its previous Game of the Year win. Talking about Larian real quick, one of the things about Larian is now they're working on their new Divinity game. And I'm excited for that, because, you know, for starters, I played Divinity 2 Original Sin, which was a very fun game, although I actually did get done watching an interview with the director for that series, and they pretty much said, like, hey, unless you're really into the story, don't go back and play the really old ones, because the gameplay does not translate too well as a one phone, which I know playing, like, older games to play them is definitely an experience, but it is a bit difficult going from one of the most polished products that you could possibly get your hands on to, oh, hey, this is a very okay experience, but the trailer was crazy as shit. I mean, the whole fucking and, you know, burning people alive, and then the, oh god, here comes the gods are silent, here comes the biggie, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's pretty scary. But I digress. Baldur's Gate 3 took home community support. Okay. Independent game, because this is where you start arguing with the indie concept. For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Now, technically speaking, AAA, single A, double A, indie, the only thing, like the biggest derivative across all of them is that they focus purely on budget. So, AAA, as we've said, is like your Blizzard, Activision Entertainments, you know, the big companies that shovel millions of dollars into a game. Now, a smaller studio, like Silksong, or Team Cherry, them getting that whole thing, with them being indie, because they're a 3-person team, small team, and the budget was not greatest, that's also very logical. Now, the options we had here, you know, Absolem, Bollix, Pip, Blueprints, Claire, Obscure, Expedition 33, Hades 2, Hollow Knight, Silksong. I would have been happy with Hades 2 or Silksong. I think Claire Obscure, for what it's worth, while it is an amazing game, it didn't quite cut right into the territory, but I know that the the logic is that it is an independent studio, and I think that's what people were going for. But I was thinking like, oh, this was a small studio that should have got it, and Team Cherry is like 3 people, and I'm not super sold up on Supergiant Games as far as how big they are, but similar situation, I imagine, with the amount of people. Okay, so best debut indie game. This is another one. Something I'd like to clarify. I think that there should be a cap on how many awards a game could win if it's very obvious that it's going to take home at least like 27 of them. Because the Game Awards, while they weren't like super great this year, I think we had a fairly stacked roster in regards to the actual Game Award itself. This particular one, it was the Obscure Awards, because it just kept taking home everything. And it got to a point where every 2 seconds you hear the theme play, and it's like, okay, that's pretty cool, but my poor Silk Song, my poor friend, she was really sad that Blueprints didn't win a single one. But again, the competition was Dispatch and Clair Obscur. I am best debut indie game, though. Again, they are independent, so I could see them winning it, and they did. But it's like, damn, they're just taking home everything. All right, best mobile game. It wasn't even close. Mumusme Pretty Derby. Is there anything else to say here? I don't know. I saw the anime. I saw both seasons of it. I mean, the funny thing to me about it is I don't even play the damn game. But all my friends back in my hometown do, and they keep trying to infect me with it. It looks alright. I already got 3 gacha games I'm being forced to play. I don't need a 4th. I'm gonna get flooded with... Oh my god, I'm gonna get fucking flooded. Okay, so... For those of you who have been sending in questions, I appreciate it, but like, I get a quarter of them nowadays where it's like gacha related. And I'm not saying no, it's really funny, but it's just like, holy shit. I have people who are watching me now just to answer these fucking questions, but we haven't been putting those off for now because I've just been wanting to talk more than anything than answer, but I might settle for a Q&A at one point and get everybody's rumbling things, but yeah, no. Best mobile game, wasn't even close. Goes to Umusume. Best VR AR game. I wanted Alien Rogue Incursion to win, and the only reason why is because I knew somebody who worked on it, and she seemed pretty proud of it. But other than that, I don't know anything about all these other games. So no dice on that front. Best action game. Hades 2 took this one, and I think that's very justified. I would have also settled for Doom the Dark Ages, but Hades 2 is fine. Best action adventure. And we did get Hollow Knight. I was happy Hollow Knight won. That's just a given. It's Hollow Knight. I expect it to win. It needs to win something, and I'm pretty sure this is the only one they took home. Which was sad. But what are you gonna do? Best RPG. I'm so sad Avowed was even included. I know some people actually enjoyed it, but... Look up any review on it, and I think you'll come to understand the general feedback census on it, because I can't really do it justice. The Outer Worlds 2, heard mixed things on it. Monster Hunter Wilds, still playing through World right now, but, we're competing against KCD and Clair Obscur, so I couldn't see it winning. But I would have been fine with Kingdom Come, but Clair Obscur took it, which is also fine. Best fighting game. I didn't have investment in any of these. So, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't see no Blaze Blue Central Fiction, which means that my investment was non-existent. But Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, SNK, I know they make stuff. Pretty cool. And we had Capcom Fighting Collection 2, 2XKO, Mortal Kombat Legacy, Virtua Fighter, yeah, all those. Family, Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's unsurprising to me. Best Sim Strategy. None of these, I would say, I was really invested into, so Final Fantasy can take that as far as I'm concerned. Best Racing. Best Sports / Racing. Kind of sad Sonic Racing Crossworlds didn't win. It had Hatsune Miku. That was kind of illegal if it didn't, you know? Oh, God. What are you gonna do? Okay, here we go. Best multiplayer. I remember watching the review. Like, they were about to announce who it was, and there was just this guy in the background. It was like, Night Rain! And I'm like, yeah, you know, don't get me wrong, Night Rain. But I'm also fine with Arc Raiders winning. It seemed like it deserved it. Now, personally, Battlefield 6 would have been nice. But we'll take Night Rain. Night Rain's also okay. But we didn't get Night Rain, we got Arc Raiders. And I don't know nothing about Arc Raiders, so what are you gonna do? Best adaptation. I could give two shits less about this category. Devil May Cry didn't like it. Minecraft Movie, Chicken Jockey, Splinter Cell Deathwatch didn't watch it. Until Dawn, and not a fan of live action. The Last of Us Season 2, also not a fan of live action. I wasn't too crazy on that one, personally. I thought the games were pretty good, though. I like the games. 2, not so much. 1, masterpiece. Most anticipated game. Grand Theft Auto 6 was probably going to take this no matter what people said. That game, ever since like GTA 5 came out in 2013, 10 plus years people have been waiting for this game. The Witcher 4? Another very exciting game for people to get hyped about, but you're kind of... It came out when there was a bigger fish in the water, I will say. Content Creator of the Year. The Burnt Peanut, Kai Cenat, K Drill, I think that's how you say it, Sakura Miku. I only know one of these people personally. Not personally. Although I really wish Charlie would ask me to, come on, Voice Critical. No. He was watching the Game Awards, and it was really funny, because he's like, oh, don't let me win, don't let me win. And then 2 seconds later, he won, and he's like, oh, fuck. But hey, I think it's very well deserved. Positive impact on the community. He was in Dispatch, okay? You had the Hunger Games guy in there. Best esports game. Huh. Again, I didn't care about any of these. Valorant, maybe. CSGO winning. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Best esports athlete, we're gonna skip that. Best esports team, don't care. Player's voice. Wuthering Waves won this one. I don't know anything about Wuthering Waves. Seems neat. There was Genshin, there was Dispatch, Claire, and Hollow Knight. They all existed, they did a thing. But it looks like that is the end of the awards. So, I think in some respects, you know, Claire definitely deserved it. In others, not so much. But I think at the end of the day, one can truly appreciate what the developers at Sandful Interactive did and the impact they had as a whole on this last year's, actually technically now, the time of recording this, is gaming. And I think that I was blessed to be able to see that there is still hope in the games industry, in spite of the fact that, you know, everyone is still trying to get in. I'm kind of just trying to stall for time now, so I hit that 30-minute mark. I think pizza's pretty good, but anyway. Thank you for listening to this rambling, incessant review of the Game Awards. I'm your host, Connor Talks Games, and yeah, I hope to see you around for the next episode.